Hi guys, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to episode 6 of my writing journey. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some pieces that I wrote from my sixth book. It's called The Goddesses Anthology. So for my so for all my books, I actually designed the book covers. And for the Goddesses Anthology, I created the book cover without knowing that it was going to be the cover at the time. And it was just flowing um, and just a clarity that I was feeling at the time. And this is what it looks like. I'm including it here right now for you guys to see. And yeah, so initially I drew this on my wall. I drew this on my wall, and it felt so powerful. It felt just encompassing all and everything that I am, which is this feeling of the state of just being centered strongly and powerfully and naturally in who I am. And from that state, just expanding exponentially and infinitely um, in that state of creating. So it actually says flying. She's flying. She's traveling through space, existence, her existence, unraveling, unfolding, ungolding, sua sponte. She who has inspired the phoenix, 1,000,000,000% her magic, 1,000,000,000% the music of her soul echoing through and through her universe, 1,000,000,000% the dance of the goddess, her footsteps reverberating through her heavens. And I felt it was just this, the design itself, it just really expressed the power that I feel inside of myself, this unique energy of who I am. It feels like this is just like a stamp that expresses it in a way where it satisfies me, and I feel like this really expresses the magnitude of what I feel. So, the Goddesses Anthology. And again, I chose some random numbers and we're going to read those pieces now. So the first one, it's number 3. Number 3. Wow, I feel like 3 should be easy and quick to find. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. And on some days, she can hear her gods laughing with her, echoing from their roaring thunders. And what a joy it is to be a playmate to God's humor. I love that. I love that. I was just scrolling through and trying to find the third piece, and I'm like, it should not take this long. And there it is. And then some days, she can hear her gods laughing with her, echoing from their roaring thunders. And what a joy it is to be a playmate to God's humor. So the next piece, it's number 7. Number 7. Now I'm going slowly so that I'll find it quickly. Here we are. Her heavens, ever in celebration, and today with her gods, their steps are heavy and powerful, stamping upon heaven's grounds. There's no holding back today. Chalices full to the brim, overflowing with the juices of her heaven. Chalices in hand, they sway side to side, back and forth, dancing to the music of their goddess's existence. Cheers to the goddess seated upon her throne of existence. She falls to the ground and feels the juices of her heaven pouring all over her, soaked in the juices of her existence. And if the rains were to pour down on the heavens today, all and everything of her heavens would be drenched in the juices of the goddess's existence. And if the juices of her existence were to rain in the heavens today, all and everything of her realm would flock to the streets under the open skies and welcome the outpouring of the juices of the goddess's existence upon them. And if the juices of her existence were to rain in the heavens today, the streets of her heaven would be flooded with the golden juices of her existence. And all and everything of her realm would dive into her golden waters, soaking in the juices of her existence. And today, my love, the juices of her existence are raining in her heavens, and she is leading the parade. She is at the forefront of her celebration. And if today you perhaps hear the roarings of thunder, know that these are the footsteps of the gods dancing in celebration of their goddess's existence. And if today you perhaps hear these roarings, know that her celebration is beating within thine heart. See the goddess standing, bow and arrow in hand, its tips dripping in the elixir of her existence. And see her gods kneeling beside her, hearts exposed, ready to be pierced by the goddess's arrows. She pierces the heart of her gods with the elixirs of her existence, and she herself falls into bliss's arms. And the heavens, the mighty heavens, have fallen into a sweet sphere of ecstasy. A tranquility coats the surface of the sphere, while the inhabitants of her heaven are intertwining, swirling within the blissful ecstasies of each other. The thunderous roarings of the celebrations have now evolved into majestically sweet silence. The heavens serenely immersed in an orgy of love. A slumber of sweet love befell her heavens. She awoke to her beloved standing beside her. Her beloved, an angel of 1,000 faces, and a heart of love that belonged to her. She awoke swaying and swooning in the love that befell her heavens, her eyes so dreamy, and she looked into the eyes of her beloved, and she fell through 1,000 skies of her heaven. She was falling through 1,000 skies of her heaven. She would fall through 1,000 skies of her heaven and land in his arms. She would fall through 1,000 skies of her heaven and land in her arms, her beloved, an angel of 1,000 faces, with a heart of love that belonged to his goddess and his goddess only. And yesterday, he was love's confidence and she love's devotion. And today he is love's devotion, heart of love devoted to his goddess. And she loves confidence, free falling through 1,000 skies of heaven in love's slumber. And before nightfall, they would be lovers belonging to the heart of love herself. And so the goddess reigns her realm, seated upon the golden throne of her existence, her god seated beside her, swaying and swooning in the sweet, sweet, sweet sounds of her existence. Wow. I feel that this feels like a sweet lullaby. Like it makes me feel like I'm swaying, and just very, very relaxed, and I can fall asleep right now. But I won't, and you guys don't fall asleep either, please. So the next piece, it's number 42. Number 42. Oh, okay. I'll drink some water first. So for this piece, it has a couple of parts to it, and I actually did some sketches on this drawing app for it, so I would include it in the piece as I read. Okay, so this is part 1, shooting for the stars. She was shooting for the stars. She was shooting for the stars. No, this queen, donned in her iridescent gown, sparkling with the jewels of her magic, her cannon in hand, she was shooting her stars into her universe. Her cannon in hand, she was shooting her stars into her universe shining in the glowing effulgence of her stars, shot forth from her cannon. Yes, she stood at the center of her universe, her essence echoing the beauty of her sanctuary of roses. She stood cannon in hand and shot the stars from her spirit and into her universe. She stood cannon in hand and shot the stars from her spirit into her universe. Do you know what it is to lay on the ground at night, looking up at the starry skies, and to see the twinkling of the stars of thine spirit? Oh, see how the goddess's universe is aglow in her stars. Part 2. A fiesta of her colors. She was now flying in the freedom of her existence. She was now soaring in the skies of the ecstasy of her self-expression. And with her paint gun in hand, She shot all the colors of her existence onto her canvas of life. All the colors, deep and dark and sensual, bright and light and abounding with the spirit of spring, her canvas of life soaked in the paints of her self-expressions. A fiesta of her colors, for how they splattered onto her canvas, the big splashes they made. Her spirit spared no expenses. The colors all dancing, the waltz, the samba, the tango, the rumba, for they knew that in their dance, swaying and swooning, they were creating the masterpieces of her soul, eager to meet with and mix with and blend with each other. She shot the colors from her paint gun and left these sweet wild creatures of her existence to their own devices, for she knew that they were creating the masterpieces of her soul. And then there comes a moment when the paint on the canvas dries. And what happens when the paint on the canvas dries? Well, you can see it all. You can see it all. For all the swirling and swirling of the colors have settled, so that you may behold the clarity of the masterpiece of thine life. That upon the canvas of our lives, and the paintbrush glistening and glowing within our hands, oh, my eyes eager to cast its gaze upon thine masterpieces. Wow. That is such that piece really encapsulates my next series of videos where I'm going to be talking about my painting journey, and I feel that it really perfectly expresses what my paintings are and the essences of my paintings. I love that. I love this. A fiesta of her colors, she was now flying in the freedom of her existence. She was now soaring in the skies of the ecstasy of her self-expression. And with her paint gun in hand, she shot all the colors of her existence onto her canvas of life, and all the colors deep and dark and sensual, bright and light and abounding with the spirit of spring. Her canvas of life soaked in the paints of her self-expressions. Her canvas of life soaked in the paints of her self-expressions. A fiesta of her colors, for how they splattered onto her canvas. The big splashes they made, her spirit spared no expenses. The colors all dancing, the waltz, the samba, the tango, the rumba, for they know that in their dance, swaying and swooning, they were creating the masterpieces of her soul, eager to meet with and mix with and blend with each other. That is literally how I feel when I look at my paintings, when I get lost in them. It feels like the more I look at it, the more and more it comes to life, and I can feel that magic just radiating from it. And then that last line feels so powerful too. That upon the canvas of our lives, and the paintbrush glistening and glowing within our hands, oh, my eyes eager to cast its gaze upon thy masterpieces. It feels like looking through the eyes of the divine, looking through the eyes of the absolute, those eager eyes, eager to see, eager to see itself, eager to see its own masterpieces being created and being brought to life.